Okay, so it's not a new deal that Shaq Fu has been regarded as a terrible game, both for the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo. But let's be honest for a minute. Was it really that bad of a game? Or did you let the internet tell you that it was a bad game? Let's discuss. So, it's not a new concept. People have told you, hey, Shaq Fu sucks, yet they've probably never played it before in their life. And this is a true fact. You'll hear it from a lot of people. They'll say, oh, that game sucks. And they'll base their opinion of it from someone they heard on YouTube or someone they heard on the internet. And I'm wondering what the mentality of that is, really. I mean, I'm not trying to defend the game or anything. I mean, yeah, it sounds like I'm trying to defend it, but in reality, how can you judge a game that you've never played? So, basically, Shaq Fu is a fighting game. It's similar to Street Fighter. It's got a little bit of, a few elements of Mortal Kombat mixed in there. It's a fighting game. Of course, if you grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, there were plenty of these games. Like, some of them were pretty generic and some actually featured well-known characters or even well-known people, with the latter of that statement being Shaquille O'Neal himself, or Shaq. And in all honesty, it's not a bad game, and that's really why you clicked on this video. But and honestly, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's a pretty decent fighting game. It's not as good as Street Fighter, and it's not as good as Mortal Kombat, but it's decent. It's playable, at least. And with that statement, there's your answer. But let's go in depth for a moment. The mentality of how it was basically called a terrible game. Where do we start? A lot of the stuff that called basically Shaq Fu a terrible game can date back to the 90s at the time of its release. It had very mixed reviews. Some loved it, some hated it. It was one of those you either love it or you hate it kind of games. I mean, Nintendo Power back in 1997, which I actually remember the issue that mentioned it, placed it in the top 100 list of games of all time. And with that, they also listed it in top 10 worst games, which they voted at number 3. But that was, according to my research, done by a staff of 12 people, which doesn't really represent any of that as solid fact, whether it was terrible or not. Now, if you did a vote of maybe 100 people or 200 people of who actually played it at that time, then you might have seen different results. You might have seen more favorable results. You might have seen more terrible results. Of course, we'll never know because it never, interviewing a crowd of that size never happened. It was just a staff of 12 people who worked for Nintendo Power at the time. But it wasn't until the days of the internet when Shaq Fu really gained a lot of infamy. A lot of its infamy can be dated back to around the early 2000s. Well, early to mid 2000s. Probably, I'm going to say around 2003, 2004, which was during what I consider the rise of the internet, which what I consider a time span of the rise of the internet was, 1990 through at least 2007. But when the internet came around, like I said, it gained its infamy, and with that, you had all these people saying, oh, it's terrible, it's a terrible game, it sucks, it's the worst game ever made. And the thing is, some of these people never even played the game, and I can almost guarantee you a lot of them that said it was a terrible game never played it. And psychologically, that's called they're technically called sheeple, or sheep. They follow whatever one says and they consider it solid fact. But like I said, my honest review of it is it's not a terrible game. And of course, that's opinion, And of course, all of these other people are entitled to opinions, but the ones who call it a terrible game don't use their own opinion. In fact, they don't even think for themselves when they call it a terrible game unless they've played it themselves. One example of this infamy, which is sparked from the internet, is a website called shaqfu.com. This person, whoever made this, I don't know who hurt them. Did Shaq do something to them for them to hate him and his game so much? I mean, what is going on, dude? I mean, this guy, he really hates this game, and his goal in life is to destroy every single copy of Shaq Fu. I mean, what in the world, man? I mean, oh my God. So he wants to liberate the world from Shaq Fu. Here is his reasons of liberating. Number 1, you prevent other generations from feeling the corruption of this game and its evil. 2, you clear up the enormous copies of Shaq Fu lying on the shelves and use console game stores. By doing so, you remove it from public display so that people will not be reminded of the game's existence. What in the world? 3, purchasing many copies of the game shifts the demand to schedule, constantly raising the price. Even though it costs you more money, it reduces the incentive for a non-liberator to buy the game, a worthwhile sacrifice. 4, by getting it from another person, you remove the burden and embarrassment they feel. Okay, I think I know what's going on here. This guy is taking these games and selling them on eBay by you sending them to him for free. I think I understand. If he legitimately does destroy these, I'd like to see proof. And then it continues on. It says, the reasons go on and on. Shaq Fu must be eliminated for everyone to feel at peace. This website discusses the methods how to obtain copies out of this. Okay. First off, this is stupid. And, like I said, I think this guy is just getting free copies and selling them. Or he really has a love and obsession. Because this is not, oh God. This is not natural. Nobody should hate something this much. And nobody should hate a person this much. I don't know what's going on here. But this is ridiculous. I mean, I never knew somebody could hate a game that much. I mean, I know people who hate games, but geez, this takes it to a whole new level. Of course, this website's been around for a while. I remember seeing this years ago. And my friend was like, hey, did you see that website? And I'm like, yeah, the one that looks like it was made in the 90s, the poorly constructed one. But apparently it's the Shaq Fu Liberation Front. But what? Oh, this is either just a really smart idea to obtain free copies of Shaq Fu, or this person just has some serious underlying issues that need to be taken care of. I mean, I don't know if it's a single person who is responsible for this or what, but it please, just, no. Moving on. So in all honesty, the game, in my opinion, it doesn't suck. It's not terrible. Of course, that's my opinion. You may have your own opinion. If you think it's legitimately terrible, that's your opinion. If you like it, though, you know, that's your opinion too. But that's all I'm going to say about that. And, of course, I want to say one more thing about this. Well, you need to stop listening to the internet when it comes to telling you what's a terrible game. Because, you know, don't be a sheeple. Just don't be a sheep. Get it from a trustworthy source like me. I've been in, playing games and whatnot for years and years, and I'm gonna tell you, you need to develop your own opinion and stop listening to what telling you it's a terrible game, and then you just go around assuming it's a terrible game. But like I said, my opinion is it's a decent game. It's not great, it's not a masterpiece, but it's decent. Well, thanks to its infamy, it got a sequel not too long ago. So I'm wondering if we should thank all the haters for eventually getting us a sequel. Thanks. And like I stated before, I'm not really trying to defend the game. I'm just trying to get fact out there that nobody should, get worked up about a game. It's just plain ridiculous. And not only that, but like I said, to reinstate this for the millionth time, develop your own opinion of the game. Don't assume that it's good or bad until you've actually played it. And don't take, these other YouTube celebrities, I guess you could say celebrities. Don't take their opinion for it. They may think it's bad. You might not think. You might be like me and think it's pretty decent for a game. Of course, you need to play it to develop your own opinion. God, I've said that so many times. Just play it. Play it. Don't assume that it's good or bad. Just go into the game with a fresh start to it, and then you can determine after you've played it for at least 30 minutes, before you develop opinion. If you sit there and just play it for 5 minutes and lose at it, then, you have no opinion of it unless you've sat there and at least played it for 30 minutes and gave it a try. But I think we've talked about this enough for today. I kind of had that rant in the back of my mind for some time now, and it's really bothered me that sites like this, really want to spread the news that it's a bad game. But like I said, develop your own opinion. God, I've said that so many times. Never thought I'd have to say that about a game before. Like, seriously. So, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, or I should say today's little video game rant. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We need your subscriptions if you want us to continue making videos. Of course, we have Season 2 coming up. Like I stated in the previous video, it should be coming up possibly around August 20th, so we'll be hard at work on some awesome content. Like and subscribe, hit the bell if you want notifications of when we do more awesome videos. We need your support for us to continue making videos. And of course, we have done so many videos, we are starting to run out of ideas. So if you have an idea for an episode or a video game thing to talk about, tell us in the comments down below, and we may just choose your topic to talk about. Until next time, I will see ya.